Jeff,
What's up, Geoff?
how you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good.
All right, all right.
I wanna be the minority. I don't need your authority. Down with the moral majority. 'Cause I wanna be the minority. I pledge allegiance to.
So we got another special guest today.
That's right.
I like that. I like the special guests. We got to keep them coming.
Definitely ups this podcast, you know?
I am digging that sign.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, check that out. I'm digging that sign. Where'd you get that?
I think I got it off Teespring.
Nice.
I looked up MXPX banners, and this one popped up. I was like, oh, that's not bad.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Hey, you know what I just realized? I forgot my drink. Again.
Oh, you need a drink. It's election night still.
It's election month. I'm going to go get a drink.
What you got? Malibu?
Malibu. There we go. All right. All right. I'm going to let Alex in. Let's see.
Yep, definitely.
There he is. Alex, what's up?
What up, Jeff? Long time no
What's
see,
going
bro.
on, man? How you
Not
been?
much, bro. Good, bro. How are you?
Good.
Just was listening to MXPX randomly, probably on Thursday at work, bro.
There you go.
Slowly going the way of the buffalo.
Oh,
Great
classic.
album. That's a great album.
You cannot go wrong with that one.
Dude, the whole CD, dude. Like, I don't even have to press skip once, man. I love that CD.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thank you for inviting me, bro. Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, McKelvey, I don't think you remember, dude, but you're like my teacher's aide in junior high gym, man. Like, that's all I remember you from
In
way back
gym?
in the day. Yep. When you're in 8th grade, I think it was, yeah, I think you were my aide. I forget who it was, what grade it was.
Oh, in middle
Maybe
school.
7th grade.
Okay,
Daughter.
yeah.
You're a year older, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and-
'Cause I was going to say, wait, I wasn't a teacher's aide in high school, but,
no, in junior
or
high.
maybe I was. I don't know. I don't
Now, what
I've
I
done a lot
could do, though,
I've done a lot of drinking between then and now. You know what I
I
mean?
hear you, bro. I hear you. And,
I was going
and
to give Alex actual credit, though. Alex is one of the people most responsible for me graduating high school because
You're welcome,
I
bro.
had drama with Alex junior and senior year. In senior year, I think drama was the only class I actually went to. And it was we had it 4th period right before lunch. So I'd go to the beach, go to Denny's, periods 1 through 3, and like
Yep.
drama, you have to show up to pass. And if it wasn't for him and Michelle Escobedo, there would have been no reason for me to go to drama. So I'd be like,
we had fun.
we had a great time. 2
We had
years,
fun.
2 years. You, me, and Michelle had a good run in drama, and that kept me going. So I graduated because of you.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. You too, same here, bro, because I graduated on the point with, I don't remember how many credits you needed, and it was because I took drama all those years, like repeatedly. And I was like, I can take that again? Yes, sign me up. Give me my A.
Good time.
Put,
Yeah.
put that GPA to 2.0, baby, so I can play. Straight.
You did it. And I like that Steelers beanie, man. I've been following you. Followed the Steelers.
Bro, it's been weird having a team to actually be pumped about. You know what I'm saying?
What's it like being a Steeler fan? Because you live in Seattle now, though, and Seattle is like they're a home team. What's it like being a Steeler fan there?
They don't like it. They don't like you. They'll tell you straight out. It's one of those places, the whole city, you watch the game. They expect that you watch the game is the Hawks game.
Yeah.
12s everywhere, those weird colors, painted on cars, painted on houses, painted businesses, flags everywhere. It's no joke up here with the Hawks. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. But when they see me with the Steelers hat, they give me a little bit, they give me a little look. But,
Yeah.
it's all right.
You're
They
not
don't say
around
anything,
here,
it's
are
just a
you?
look.
So you
What
went
about you guys? How do you feel about the Dodgers? Repping Vinny? What?
Oh, look, there he
There you go.
is. Finally, the mistake of overusing analytics actually worked in the Dodger favor instead of killing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's that perfect thing. It's like, I like analytics, but I also like knowing when to ignore them. And the Rays made the mistake that the Dodgers make year in, year in and out.
Yep.
And that's just the thing. It's like, you got to know when to just ignore the numbers. And the Dodgers, they lucked out because the Rays blew it.
Turns out Turner got COVID in the 7th inning, I guess.
Man.
How you not get that?
What do
Sorry.
you think about that, dude? Like, I'm thinking like this: if they waited till the 7th, or they not waited, they found out in the 7th inning. Pretty sure that guy got into close contact with everybody on that team up until the 7th inning. Am I right?
Yeah,
So,
I don't think it mattered.
Right. So what's that? If he comes back out, they had a horrible year. I'm sure he affected everybody on that whole entire team that traveled, that was in that locker room, was around him within 6 feet, without mask or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So why take that away from the guy? Like, you know, like.
Well, that was my first concern after when we're like, why are you pulling Turner in the 7th? Yeah, he's not hitting great, but defensively, and then, you know, after the game they come back, he's got COVID. I was like, oh, he can't celebrate. Like, that's a big loss. And then I see him out there. I was like, way to go.
I would have done the same thing. I bet all the guys out there would have told him, dude, I already shared a cup of Gatorade with you, and you know what I'm saying? Like, what else?
They were high-fiving and everything.
Hey, dude, you're not taking the World Series celebration away from me. I don't care. Like, as long as my teammates are cool with it, I'm gonna be out here.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I think the only complaint I heard was that he was around the other players' families more. Yeah. He was within contact of the kids and the wives. But, well, if you infected, you know, the other players, you infected their families.
Yeah, right.
And, I mean, not to now go political, but we're kind of finding out that COVID isn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Yes, 225,000 people have died, but the infection rate's going up. The death rate is way down. You know, it's not what they've been trying to scare us about.
I think if I was super worried about getting COVID or my family doing it, I wouldn't have gone on that field at all to celebrate. And that's what you're making a personal decision and I could see some people would argue against you, Geoff, and say, oh, no, it is a major deal. Okay. Well, that person that thinks it's a major deal probably going to stay in the stands and not go out on the field where there's going to be a lot of people anyway. So it's all about personal decision making.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like up here, like we're in the epicenter, dude. Like they were calling us ground zero of this in the beginning. Excuse me. Cough right now.
Man, coughing's no good.
You know, all bad, right? No, but like I just had moved up here and they're already talking about it up here. They're talking about, hey, don't touch the door handles when you go into the buildings downtown. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, I was like, you guys are tripping. In early October. And then by the time it was kind of like this ugly story that kept getting bigger and bigger. You're like, yeah, right. You know, they're never going to come here, right? That's what we all thought. They'll never get over here.
Right.
You know, that's what we always think. And then when it started hitting downtown a few blocks away from my job site, I was like, whoa, like, this is getting real. And I feel like it's a real thing. I feel like it's something to be worried about, but it's also, I feel like the masks personally are the best thing until they tell me something different or something better comes around that they say works better. I'm down, but till this is so far the best bet. And I have to go out and earn a living though, so I'm not about shutting down. I need to work. Yeah. And I feel like if I make that decision for me and my family to wear a mask up and go out there and work because I need to, then that should be up to me. You know what I mean? But if you want to stay home, that's up to you. Like, I'm not judging. Like, I get it. I've known people that have lost family members very quickly. It's ugly. I have a couple of people in my family that survived it. So it's affected me. So I know it's a real deal thing. I'm never going to downplay it. But I also feel like people have to they have to work. Like, we have to do what we got to do for our families. And I wear a mask and I go out there and I work. And I do everything I can to be careful. When I go out up here, I go to parks and I don't started going to restaurants a little bit. It's weird to be in a restaurant and have like circles and fiberglass and taking temperatures, and it's weird, but what's up?
Sorry, are you guys inside dining right now? Like, you can go inside?
Yeah, but they have regulations, you know, like every other booth. You're supposed to be with the same household. I don't know how they can do that besides checking IDs, which I don't see very much. It's kind of weird how they would enforce that or know that. But that's the thing, they want to encourage you to be with just people that's aren't in your home. It's just me and my fiance over here. We just go out there, try to grab some lunch, hang out with our dog, take her to all these awesome parks up here, and, you know, try to lay low. Stay away from downtown, all the chop and all that craziness. That whole rioting situation, that was literally a couple blocks away, like I said, from my job site. I walk around that, you know, where those riots started that first weekend. That was right in front of our main office. So they got down and dirty down there, bro.
Is that vibe happening right now? Like, do you feel like a powder keg, or is it kind of like, no, it's not like that right now?
It's been tense the whole time. There's still pockets of small protests and rioters. They just don't make the news as often, even up here as much. Like, they'll say stuff real quick, but it's not like how it was in the beginning. It was 24 hours a day for like 2 weeks. Now it's like, hey, there's a small riot and they burned down a building. Next on the news, like, it's like anything else now, which is really sad, you know.
That is, yeah.
But it's still tense. I feel like this election is actually making it way more tense everywhere. That is definitely more than that situation, more than the BLM versus the police up here. I feel like the Trump Biden hoods is getting really hot. So
I'm working in Hollywood right now, and I drive through downtown all the time, and it hasn't been that bad. It's not, at least not what you see, like what we see on the news in Seattle, them taking over 7 blocks. Haven't had that. Had some skirmishes, you know, but they usually break up by 2 a.m.
Got you.
Everybody goes home. During the day, it feels completely normal. You know? But I don't think LA's been that what it is in the rest of the country.
Yeah, I live in Orange County, and the only thing that I've seen is anti-mask wearers demonstrating. And those people are crazy. Huntington Beach and San Clemente, man. Those people, they were up in arms about having to wear a mask and not getting to go to work, though. Yeah.
Well, I think those those protests got more news coverage than anything else.
I think so.
As soon as, you know, which are basically the right saying, look, don't tell me what I have to do. And, you know, I'll stand out here and yell and everything. They got more of a bad rap than people that were burning down and looting. In my opinion.
Depends on which channel you're watching.
Most definitely. Dude, it's so weird because I'm up here. I watch the news down there, though. I like watch like KTT Fox or whatever on YouTube. And just the difference of what they show up here compared to what they show down there. I'm like, man, they're selling something, dude. This is on purpose. This is on purpose. Like, because up here, they just showed you guys, everyone was at the beach partying, not wearing masks.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. That was it. Like, everyone in Cali and Florida was partying and not caring about masks and then being mad about wearing, like, you guys are the no mask state. That's how they showed you guys up here.
And when I go to the beach, though, everybody's spread out. Like, when you go find your spot, and everybody does this, you find your pocket where you're away from it. Everyone's done a pretty good job, actually, at the whole social distancing at the beach type of a thing.
Well, whenever you went to the beach, whoever came and put a towel right down next to your towel. I don't care what, Memorial Day weekend, there would still be 6 feet in between towels.
Well, I'll have someone go in front of me because we try to get as close as we can to the water. We'll have someone that comes right in front of us sometimes, and I'll be like, hey, kids, go play over there. Go kick some dirt over there.
Hey, so Geoff, how is it as a parent? Because up here, I just have to take care of myself and look after my girl because she has really bad asthma and allergies. So we're real careful for her because she has gnarly asthma. She has a breathing machine next to the bed. She's like that level. So if she caught this, it'd be bad news. So we do everything we can as far as that. But we're adults and it's just us two. What's it like with little ones, man? Like, how's that feel like when someone rolls up on you at the store a little too close or do you not care at all? Like, where are you coming from on that?
Well, we're active, but we're outside And so that helps. Yeah, I think everything is like how you ask, like, how do we do it, Alex? Is we kind of strategically do it. We minimize risk while maximizing what we can do. So, we don't do stuff indoors. We have a select group of families that our friends play with. So it's not like they're off running around with random kids. The big thing though is like Caleb. So my boy Caleb is just like a hugger. Like watching him play soccer, he's got his arms around everyone, and we have to like constantly be reminding them, okay, Caleb, you have to be mindful of what other parents. So it's kind of like what other people. It's like play it mellow. Make sure you don't go too close to people unless they want you to. It's things like that, like just reminding the kids because they forget there's the pandemic. At least our kids do.
Would it be nice to be able to forget, dude?
Yeah, totally.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, and
it's funny though. Rayan will come through, and he'll be like, "Hey, we got to keep 6 feet apart." And I look at him like, "Where are you getting this stuff?"
You've been listening to CNN.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Like, I give you a kiss at night. Like that's done. If I got it, you got it.
We're in this together. We're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
It's over now. That's what the dudes at work say. Like sometimes you'll like bum a cigarette or you'll get too close and they're like, "Hey, dude, we all got the same strain of COVID now, bro. You're deep out here, and it's true. You're working construction in the construction field. Sometimes you can't stay away, from 6 feet. You have to get close, to get stuff done. So these dudes are different up here, man. They wanted to work. A lot of guys stayed home at first because they were scared, like we didn't know what it was.
Right. And
then they're paying that smooth $600 a week, Some of them already making a lot of money, and then the $600 on top of it to stay home. Some guys were taking vacations, but for the most part, they work rain, sleet, or snow up here in construction, man. These iron workers and stuff up here, man, we call in for the rain back at home, man. These dudes are up in the snow, dude, like up like on that iron. I'm like, man, you guys are crazy. I never felt snow before till last year, and these dudes are up 13 stories walking iron, bro, in the snow. Like, geez, like they do it every day.
All right, should we get this podcast going?
Let's do it.
That was a good intro.
Right?
Catching up. So I'm going to introduce Alex.
Pretty much what the podcast is anyway.
Yeah, basically. We're all August. It's an excuse to hang out. All right, so I'm going to get this going. Welcome to the Two Geoffs podcast. This is the podcast where Geoff and I, and this week's special guest, Alex, sit down. We talk about other podcasts that you should be listening to other than ours. This week, we are covering, and I have it written down on my phone right here.
The Scene of the Crime.
Scene of the Crime podcast. Now, the Scene of the Crime podcast is a true crime podcast, obviously, and there's a lot of true crime podcasts out there. We got to talk about what that means about us as a society, as we like to learn about real crime so bad. But this is run by Carolyn Osorio and Kim Shepard. One of the two ladies is a reporter. And so there's some legitimacy to kind of, the way they storytell and the research that they do. I was listening to a few Barefoot Bandit podcasts, and I wanted to pick which one would be the one for us to cover. And I liked the way these girls had an angle and a story to tell, and it seemed legit. They seemed like good storytellers, so I chose them. And so Scene of the Crime podcast, they cover different criminals, different, folklore of what's happening, and similar to many other true crime podcasts.
Can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. Can't sleep 'cause my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?
So Geoff, why don't you tell us about this specific episode?
Oh, yeah, this is about the Barefoot Bandit, who I'd never heard of, but I guess made national news around 2010. I think it was 2008. He was 17, sent to juvie, He escapes juvie and then goes on a 4-year escapade of stealing airplane, boat, living in expensive houses, stealing money and donating it to animal causes. This guy was, I mean, I don't know how I never heard of this guy. He's my spirit animal.
Guys, what do you think? Cougar Legend. Is this guy a kook or is he a legend then?
Oh, no, definitely legend.
Legend?
Yeah.
You guys go with
Legend, 100% legend, dude. I mean, bro, stealing boats, teaching yourself how to fly planes, jacking planes, crashing them until you learn, mobbing to the Bahamas, stealing boats, and then calling out the cops like, I'm bored, come and get this? Come
Exactly.
on, dude.
He was full on taunting the cops like, okay, guys, you can't catch me. He made it as easy as he could for them to catch
He
him
took a
finally.
selfie at one point, right?
Yep.
He took a selfie and left it on one of the crime scenes at one point.
He started toying with him. My whole
Bro.
thing, okay, so I want to say he's a kook just because he was stealing, and that's not right. But then the part of me that says legend is like, I'm picturing myself. I've never flown a plane in my life. I'm going to literally turn on the plane and fly and take off. Me personally, I'm planning on dying because there's no way I could land this thing. And this guy literally just crash lands his planes until he, figures out how to land a little bit better. And I don't think he ever really successfully landed a plane. I think he crashed every single one, even in the Bahamas. And then he'd steal a boat and he'd be like, eventually he was like, guys, come and catch me. I'm the Barefoot Bandit. And
dude, the guy drew footprints out the door and wrote "see ya" on the floor to the cops, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you got to give the dude his props, just like for the boldness, and the kid he did what he wanted to do, man. And then I actually watched also a documentary that they had on YouTube. I'm more of a visual guy than just listening, so I also doubled up. And man, it was a cool how they did it because they mixed animation in there with
the Wonder Woman.
Yes, right?
Yeah, that was good.
Dude, it was really good. And I can't be mad at the kid, man. I think legend, dude. Especially if I'm a youngster, if I'm up here from Washington and I'm a teenager and I see this kid doing all this stuff, for sure. And the way they talk about him up here, legend. Like, how do you not root for that dude, right? Like,
it's right. You're torn because it's the perfect anti-hero. It's like he's the bad guy doing good things or a good guy doing bad things. We can't tell. And then
he's stealing everything he's stealing is coming from the rich, and then he's giving some of it back to the poor. He was almost a modern day Robin Hood.
Yeah.
And you can use a phrase like this: "He ain't never hurt nobody." What do you do, bro?
Right?
He ain't never hurt nobody.
Yeah, there was, minus the stealing of stuff, but like violence-wise, he never hurt a single person.
Nope.
And the way that he got away with things, you steal a plane because the plane owner leaves the keys in the plane, and it's like, it's just crazy. So the further you go into this guy, just the crazier it gets. With every theft, you're like, he did that? Like, he was able to jump up to that third story, canceled all the cameras, and then live in there for 2 days while the whole town is searching around him, and he's just like perched up in the second story of a building. It's like, how does that happen?
Man, I saw some T-shirts around town up here, and there's all kinds of random stuff up here people wear. Like I said, it's a whole different vibe up here. And I saw Barefoot Bandit shirts, a couple of them. And I was like, what is that? And then I saw it had a logo of like a foot. And it wasn't Bigfoot because they have Bigfoot stickers up here. But this one looked like an actual, like a human foot. Yeah. Like almost like a baby's print, like they put on the birth certificate, like a footprint. There you go. Like you would put on the birth certificate. And it said Barefoot Bandit. And then I saw some stickers on hard hats of the feet. So I was like, hey, dude, what is that? And they're like, oh, that's Barefoot Bandit. You never heard of the Barefoot Bandit? I was like, no, man. And they schooled me on it. So I YouTubed it. And, man, how cool it, like, first of all, the kid, that juvenile detention, wherever that he started to escape from, that's like 10 minutes away from where I live right now. It's over here in Renton. Yeah. So I was like, cool. It's like down the street. That's what I'm talking, local guy, right? Yeah. So then
do they have landmarks to this guy? Like, outside there's a little plaque. This is where he stole his first plane. This is the juvenile he ran from, stuff like that.
No, I'm sure they will. They're probably like, this is where Barefoot Bandit jumped out of this window in Renton, Washington.
You could
I
probably
think it's over by Jimi Hendrix's grave.
You could start a Barefoot Bandit tour.
Totally.
Okay, here's the juvie. Here's his home where he grew up.
100%.
Which we'll get into that because there's a whole nature versus nurture conversation in this thing.
There you go.
But I mean, you could start at one spot and follow this guy, and I guarantee you get hundreds, if not thousands, of people who want to visit that a year.
Ooh, dude! So thanks for the business tip. Are you coming up to Seattle to make this happen with me, bro?
When
Let's
you
do this.
start it, I'll just take 5%. Don't worry.
That's a good idea, man.
I'll take the tour and then 5%. We'll be good.
Dude, you know what? As funny as it is, I bet you there's people out there that would actually do it. Because have you heard these Crime Palooza? They have these conventions now of these
really?
true. Yeah, dude, they have serial killer true crime conventions where all these people listen to all their favorite podcasts, like the ones we're talking about, and it's a whole thing, dude. So I can imagine someone wanting to take that tour.
So we've hit a couple things I wanted to go into about. So let's go with what Alex just said. That we have crime paloozas, we have crime tours, we have all these true crime podcasts. The one that that I used to listen to a little bit until I just was like, I don't know if I can keep listening to this, was My Favorite Murder. What does that say about us as a society? That we're so we want to I want to learn more about these things. What do you think that says about us?
I think it's not just, I watch a lot of it, dude. I watch a lot of true crime stuff. I was just watching some more. I found a new one this weekend. I've been purging Twisted Sisters. Have you seen this one? Sisters that turn on each other. And the Kardashians produced it. And it's on ID. It's about all these true crime stories of sisters flipping on each other. It's really it's a good one. I watch all kinds, and from what I've seen, it's not just Americans, dude. It's everybody, around the world. Japan's really big into this stuff too. I just think it's we see so much. Our generation has seen a lot. We grew up with the internet rising and all the videos people try to put on the internet. So I think we're kind of desensitized by now, man. We see a lot, on your Instagram. I bet you'll see some stuff on your Instagram feed right now that you probably couldn't get a bootleg video of back in the 90s.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Faces of Death is, nothing on what you catch on my Instagram feed today.
Mm-hmm.
But is it more that we're desensitized, or is it a curiosity factor? Because I'm going to say 80 to 90% of this audience, not our audience, because that was too small. We're going to go world
Your
audience.
mom?
Yeah. She says she likes it. She needs me to speak.
Oh, good.
Good. No, we don't experience crime in an everyday situation. Especially horrendous crimes. I'm not saying Barefoot Bandit was, but murders, especially serial killers, stuff like that. So when you start hearing those stories, it brings that oh, what is this? I gotta find out about that, because that's something out of the ordinary.
I think we revert back to our middle school days where it's gossip. It's I want to get the dirt and I want to know about it and then I want to pass it on. I think we have this nature that's we want to know I don't know if we feel better about ourselves if we know the worst about others. That's or maybe there's something, maybe we connect to their evil ways in a little bit because we know in ourselves there's a little bit something with us. I don't know, but yeah, it could be a bunch of different things, I think.
I think for me, dude, it's fear. For me, it was fear. I don't know if you guys remember the Night Stalker from back in the 80s.
Richard Ramirez.
So my family had a couple brushes they really believed with that dude, at our house and when I was really young and my grandpa's house. And then I don't know if you remember, they made a movie and it was on, I'll never forget, man, it was on Channel 4 back when we were kids. And it was that dude from Unsolved Mysteries was and they played that ugly, scary Unsolved Mysteries music, and they talked about the manhunt for Richard Ramirez. and I would crap my pants every night that commercial came on, man. And that made me more curious because it made me, if I knew every aspect of it, I wouldn't be scared of it anymore. So that I read a book and I was like, okay, and I learned, and then next thing you know, I'm watching the documentaries. I'm not so scared of this like boogeyman guy anymore. And then it just kind of opened up like all these other crimes that have happened. And I love any kind of documentary. So true crime is like, it's cool. And I wanted to be a detective at one point. I ain't gonna lie. So
I guess it kind of brings
for me,
about
it's curiosity of fear.
I think it also brings about the dichotomy of good versus evil. And it's like, you can't have good without evil. And we all want to be heroes. So we're intrigued by, the villain. And I think it just, there's something innate in us that we want to see good versus evil. And so that kind of brings it out. All right, here's the second one that you guys talked about. Geoff mentioned nature versus nurture. And so here's a guy. Now, I feel like the podcast, but they've kind of sold it as like he had this horrible childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, look, it was bad. I'm sure it was bad. And I don't want to downplay it. He had a worse childhood than I did, for sure. But there's a lot of people that have a lot of bad childhoods that don't go out and just start stealing stuff. Now, if this kid doesn't go to juvie, does he become this mastermind criminal? Probably. I don't think so. What do you guys think about that?
No. I don't know. I just think the kid, he was a wild kid. We all have known people like that. Some kids don't like going to school. Some kids don't like following rules. Mm-hmm. This dude didn't like to. He liked being out in the woods. If you came out here, you'd understand. Like, if you're a teenager, I get now living up here. I don't have to go to school. Like, no one's telling me to live at home. I know how to steal, and I get away with it, and I'm having a good time. Like, that's the whole thing. Is like, imagine us back in high school being like, we didn't have to listen to anything or anybody. I get that. I don't think necessarily though he would do all those things, steal boats and planes, if he got pushed into that corner. Like, hey, I better live life to the fullest, or I can end up in here. I'm not coming back in here.
I feel like it was the first challenge for him when he broke out of that detention center. That was a challenge, and he did it. And I think it was like, well, what could I do next? Right. I think this is all right. Go for it, Geoff.
Him ending up in juvie wasn't his first stint with the law.
No.
And I think there's a whole twist to this nature and nurture thing because, his upbringing was pretty bad. Basically a single family home, a single mother raising him, pretty poor from all accounts.
Neglected.
But this is a guy that at 17 was able to read a flying training manual and learn how to fly a plane.
Yeah.
So he wasn't, the brains are there to know right from wrong. Like, to learn and to see what was going on. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where to fall on it because, that was a pretty crummy upbringing he had from all accounts. He, he didn't have all the chances that any of us had, but he chose to go one way with it and at least, have fun for that 3 or 4 years. And I don't know. That's a tough nature versus nurture call.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is some of the nurturing components, he was neglected by the schools. That doesn't happen as much anymore. Our school system, it still happens where kids fall through the cracks. But just being in a school, I know how much effort goes into so many kids, and we're just trying to catch as many as we can. But there's a lot of support in schools if we can identify those kids. And this guy, because he was so smart, probably snuck through those cracks. But, he was neglected by schools. He didn't get the support he needed. Neglected at home, and then he was put into a system that I think just said, hey, you are a criminal. I think that was
was he neglected at home? I think he had a single mother who was doing the best she can. There's a story about him being brought home by the cops because they thought he stole that bike.
Yeah.
And she, by all accounts from the aunt, scraped and saved to get him that bike for his birthday. So, yes, she didn't have all the money in the world, but she was putting in effort.
I'll say as a father, though, the fact that he didn't have a father in his life and he had a couple stepfathers show up and disappear, that's neglect.
I'll
And
agree with that.
I don't want to throw judgment on anyone right now. Like I'm not trying to
You
judge.
did a lot of finger pointing right there, bro.
I am, aren't I? Huh? That's the way I talk.
Right?
I don't want to look. Everybody has different scenarios, and I'm not meaning this in a judgmental way on anybody by any means. But I do feel that not, especially a boy, and I think this guy needed it, not having that father, that stable father figure in his life, and his father actually shows up at one point, and I think ends up becoming abusive to him during one event. I think that is the neglect right there, and I don't want to put blame on the father. I just want to define that as there's an area where he might have been neglected is by not having that stable father figure, and that's an instance. You know what? There's a lot of people that live under that duress, and that's just kind of the way our society is, unfortunately. And so maybe that's what it was.
Maybe. I feel like in this situation, this kid was pretty intelligent. I mean, to, like Geoff said, to read a airplane guidebook, whatever it was, a nautical book, I forget what it was called, at his age, the kid had sense.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I grew up with a single mom. My pops wasn't around too much. I think at some point, maybe that's when you're a little kid, you can get away with, like, you know, saying that, having that argument, I don't have a parent around, I don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get into your old, like, mid-teens, 14, 15, 16, you know better. You start knowing better,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So at that point, I think it's a choice that, even as you're a kid still, you're a teenager, but you're making a choice that you don't want to follow the status quo or whatever line you want to follow. You wanted to go another way. So I think it's a little different. Your argument I feel like is correct for most cases, but I think this kid's really smart, like on another level. So I feel like there might be a little asterisk for this kid because he's smart. Like, this dude was smart.
He knows right. And you know what? The fact that he wasn't violent shows that he knows right from wrong. He's picking and choosing his crimes. And I think that shows a sense of purposefulness, that he knows this is my line. I'm not going to cross it, type of thing. To your point.
Right.
I think to Alex's point, no one's ever going to accuse me of being smart at any point. And if my father had beaten the fear of God into me a few times about straightening up, who knows where I'd have been right now.
Yep.
I'm sure I'd have made some dumbass mistakes.
Yep. I hear you. I did have my pops around, you know, in the beginning, but, you know, my family did, you know, mom and dad, that happened. I had a good grandpa that taught me the way, and my uncle, he's always been there for me. He still is, you know, and I had that guidance, you know, but my uncle was the first one to tell me you could have gone the other way whenever you wanted to, you know. Your mom was at work. At one point, my mom was going to college, learning how to translate, you know, in Spanish to English and all that to try to make more money to help us out. She wasn't coming back home from school till 9, 10 o'clock a few times during the week, you know, and I could have went and been a knucklehead, you know, but I knew I had to, you know, how to keep it together for moms and your family, and you got to act decent, you know what I mean? But this kid didn't have that in him. He just wanted to have a good time and do what he wanted to do. That was stronger.
Yeah.
That's a huge, what is it? It's a huge statement that your mom was going to college and you know, bettering herself, and you saw that. Yeah. That could be a reason, you know, maybe I'm speaking that term, but you had
for sure.
You had a role model
of
at least one parent that was like trying to do better and trying to get, you know, do better for you.
Most definitely, man. She had me and my sis. We never been in jail. We're Hispanics, and we didn't have no babies till last year in the family, bro. She did a good job, you know. We had no teen moms. You feel me?
Well,
you know what time it is? We grew up in the 90s, bro.
Both of my sisters were pregnant like that. Come on, I know what that's like.
Well, it goes to show you too, like I kind of talked about like not having a strong father figure, but it also goes to show you, to your point, I think everybody has something or someone in their lives, put in their lives, That is their opportunity to be shown the right direction, and we choose to follow it or acknowledge that, or we choose to go our own path the other way. And I think we always have a way out from doing the wrong thing. And so, yeah, there's always someone put in our lives that is our guiding light. And it's great that you had that. It's great that we all had that. That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm pretty sure the Two Geoffs podcast just solved one of the age-old questions.
Nature
And we
versus
did it. And we did it eloquently, bro. Without
Yeah.
argument or
That was,
anything.
Yeah, 3 guys in one room. We probably voted differently, and no one is up in arms fighting.
Dude, I don't know. This is me. I don't trust, or I'm not about any of these parties, dude. I'm not about the Democratic Party or Biden, and I'm not about the Republican Party or Trump, dude. I believe that there are policies and there's a new kind of I don't know what the word to say it, but there's a big group of minorities that are going towards Republican, and because a lot of, from what I understand from the research and questions I've asked, Republicans are like business owners, right? Or it's a business owner kind of party, right?
Yeah,
but they're also starting to realize, right? That's the stereotype, but they're starting to realize that they need a workforce for those businesses to keep running. And I'm a part of that middle class workforce, and I need to do what's best for my family to keep our livelihoods going. And there's a lot of things on the Republican side, like the taxes, dude, like that Biden wanting to tax the rappers, that opened up a lot of people's eyes, because if they're hitting 50 and Lil Wayne and stuff, dude, what are they going to do to us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, it's a dumb example, but that's what it takes for a lot of people. Like, hey, I've heard of that guy. I know who that is. But some people, that opened their eyes, though, and made them go Google and look around into stuff. But there's not a lot of money going around right now as it is, and then they want to take a bunch of it away, so there's a lot of minorities, Latinos especially, looking at Trump with, like, hey, maybe he's not so bad after all, so it's real confusing time, man. It's real, because, man, but for me, it was hard because I literally don't believe in either one of these candidates.
I think you've hit on a topic that most Americans are realizing now, that we don't like the government.
Right.
Left or right, you don't like the government. But at the same time, if you're left or if you're right, you don't like the other side either. And what most people don't realize is we're all fighting for the same thing.
Yeah.
We want to be left alone.
Yeah.
We have this set of rules that, was written 300 years ago, but it seems to be working. You don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. Everybody is equal. Let's move on. But at this day and age, like, I have to vote Republican because all the Democrats keep saying is they want to take away guns, which is number one with me. You start saying you want to take away guns, sorry, I can't vote for you, because then you're going to support any bill that comes through. And then if you start saying you're going to raise my taxes, which people don't realize, Biden goes, first thing I'm doing is I'm repealing Trump's tax cuts.
Raise taxes.
Which he said didn't help middle class, which I'm seeing an extra, almost $200 a paycheck from Trump's tax cuts. So you repeal that. Now I'm paying an extra $2,400 a year to the government that I hate, that's not doing anything for me anyway.
My question for you, Geoff, Kelvy, as a Trump supporter, I have one question, dude, because I've never seen anything like it before. What is it about this dude that people would steal from their moms, go it seems like they'll die for this guy. Like they take it personal if you talk bad about this guy.
Well,
why is it that people care so it's like I've never seen anything like it. Even with Obama, I didn't there's people that were happy.
Let me say something real quick. I am not that Trump supporter.
Okay.
And I may not even be a Trump supporter, but as far as those diehard kill everybody that waves a Biden-Harris flag. I don't know. It's a cult. And it's a cult on both sides. And then there's all of us stuck in the middle, just trying not to get our everyday lives fucked with. I'm just saying that right now we have these two options. And Trump, we know, isn't going to back an assault weapons ban. Right? Trump isn't going to try and raise my taxes. Right. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen because, I mean, with all the money we're doling out for this pandemic, taxes have to go up. We have to make up that money. If they want to send out another stimulus, taxes have to go up. And I understand that. So basically it came down to me as being, you're not backing an assault weapons bill. California has a lot of gun lawsuits going through the courts right now that look good for California. So I don't want to mess that up.
People really love their guns, and I get it. It's in the Constitution.
Well, and you guys are almost a free state. Like,
it's crazy.
California laws are starting to move up in there, but you could walk into the sheriff's department right now and get concealed carry, no problem.
Yep.
But here we got to go through hoops and you know what I mean? So
yeah, I get that, man, and I feel safe up here, even though I guess there's more people up here with guns, right? Because if it's a concealed carry, I'm sure there's more people up here that have them on. But man, I personally don't have guns, so that argument for me, even though I understand because it's a matter of principles, this is my property and I have a right to do it, and you have no right to take it away from me. I get that, no matter what it is, even if it was your cell phones, it could be whatever, you know what I mean? If it's not they don't have the right to take it from you, they shouldn't. I get that.
Well, it's not, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's not a property issue. It comes down to a rights issue.
Right, exactly. Because it's in your right,
300 years ago, they gave us this right that says you are allowed to defend yourself. You're allowed to defend yourself against anybody, or you're allowed to defend yourself against a tyrannical government. Since then, they've continually cut down what that right means. I'm going to tell you, it's the only right that has been cut, that has put limitations on it.
I think we're losing the freedom of speech, though. I think we're losing freedom of speech and freedom of speech.
That's true.
I think all these are just examples. I think it
was the first one to take away. It was the first step.
What do you think they're taking away in the freedom of speech?
Well, people are wanting to monitor. They want Facebook and Twitter to be the truth police. That takes away freedom of press. I disagree with all the false information going on social media, but let's face it, no one should be regulating what is the truth.
Well, so first of all, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, censoring all this stuff, I'm totally on the side of them being private companies. They can say whatever goes on their platform. They're not a utility. They're a platform. They can censor. If I getting a little drunk and I forgot your other points, but
cheers, brother.
But there is no case where the government is telling you you're not allowed to say something.
People are starting to ask the government to step in to have these companies. People are starting to ask the government to literally take away our freedom of speech.
Cancel culture.
Hey, Alex, you didn't know we had Metis Yahoo on, did you?
I feel like my First Amendment rights are being discriminated against right now.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, but cancel culture. It's big boy voice. Let's go. And hey, Geoff, maybe by our next episode, we'll have a president elected.
I'm going to say maybe. We'll see. I think we're going to have another special guest on the next one. So
I think Andrew Flynn's coming on.
Awesome.
Yo, tell him I said what's up.
Yeah. All right. And but we're going to have you on again, Alex. It was fun.
Thanks, man. Can't wait. It was dope. Good to see you guys.
All right, fellas. Peace.
Later, bro.